Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the potential for a upcoming storm system next week. Very far out, very uncertain, but it looks as if all models are showing, most of the bigger models are showing for a fairly intense storm that will be coming next week. Now, whether it will bring heavy snow or just rain is still up for a gamble. It's a coin toss, roll of the die. Really, it's tough to tell at this point, but it seems a big storm will be on its way somewhere early to mid next week. So within half a week, it should be here across the United States. This will be an impactful one. Again, it's very far out still, so not really, basically no confidence about this one. But it does seem like there will be some sort of storm. Just the exact details, timing, track is uncertain. So if you guys like weather-related content, that's what I do on this channel. I talk about the weather, winter storms, spring storms, severe weather, hurricanes, long-range outlook, temperatures. If you like any of that, consider subscribing to this channel. Check out my other videos, see what it's about, and see for yourself. And if it's worthy of a subscription, consider subscribing. If you are a subscriber to this channel and you're watching this video, please consider liking this video. Even if you're not a subscriber, you can like the video. It's just, if you're a subscriber, you're more willing to usually like the video. So let's look at the MSLP and precip and frozen. So if we were to look at this, we could notice that we have a storm right now going across the country, and it's a pretty large system, and it's dropping quite a bit of snow across Detroit, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and it'll continue intensifying into southeastern Canada pretty rapidly, and that's where a lot of the snow will fall, including into portions of Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire as well, as a lot of heavy snowfall rates will be occurring there as well with the intensification of the storm. You can see it's at 980 millibars of pressure, which is pretty powerful. And notice that the winds will be spanning way across into possibly Lake Michigan, across Wisconsin, Illinois, and into into Indiana. So that is going to cause for some pretty windy conditions where the fluffy snow fell. There's going to be a lot of drifting, as that's going to lead, the strong winds are going to pick up that snow, and it's going to lead to a lot of more unnecessary issues. But that's winter for you. So let's look at the big storm that I'm talking about, that this video is really supposed to be dedicated towards. Notice that we see a large system come off the North Pacific, or basically the northwest off the Pacific Ocean. Now, there's many pieces to this system. Notice that there's a clipper to the north, and there is a pretty profound system to the south, and this will be coming through the Midwest, right there through Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and this is actually a pretty powerful storm. Even at this point, you can see it's almost at 998. That's not unheard of, but it's a relatively strong storm, and that's why it quickly grabs up a lot of this precipitation from the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is open for business. This brings in a lot of precipitation. You can see very heavy rain, possibly some severe weather across Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, and into Missouri. So that is definitely something you'll have to watch. And notice how it kind of stays over the same period over a longer period of time. So that could mean some flash flooding, some severe weather, yes, but mainly some flooding issues. So this storm, that may seem like that's it. This one passes through, that's it. No, a bigger one digs out through Oklahoma and into Arkansas. And this one really brings up a load of precipitation across the northeast. You can see that it brings off very heavy. Sorry about that. It brings very heavy rain across the northeast into Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and even into parts of West Virginia. Again, the track is yet to be determined for this thing. The Canadian is showing the storm to be further out to the west, and now if this storm takes a more western track, there's going to be more cold air close to it. Okay, so all the precipitation that's on the northwest side could turn into some very heavy snow. So if I were in these locations, I would definitely be on the lookout for a potential heavy snow event out of this storm. Right now, the GFS is pretty far to the south and east with this storm, but that's not to say that it won't be in the future. or that in the future it will go back down or move back to the west. So again, right now just very heavy snow for the northeast possibly, but not really for the Midwest. Notice a clipper kind of attaches itself to that. So if these two things were to phase together, phase, what we like to call in meteorology, that's basically when two systems kind of work together to create a larger, stronger storm and more lift in atmosphere, or due to more lift in atmosphere. And you can see that this would possibly have some very heavy snow for the northeast, but not much else. It brings a cool shot of air, pretty chilly. You can see Friday, March 6th, March 7th, also seeing some chillier temperatures. And we go forward, we see more storms possibly you can see developing, and maybe a warmer pattern towards the end, but it's tough to say when the truly warm air will come to stay. But again, I just want to let you know that out in front of this storm, let's say Monday to Sunday, Monday could be very warm across the portions of this lower 48, anywhere south of, I guess, the Illinois-Wisconsin border. So if you were to draw a horizontal line across the United States, anywhere south of that will be relatively warm, and you can see that even after the storm passes through, a cool down happens. We have these brief warm-ups that come through, and they're just really going to keep things better, as even if the cold does come, it's now sustained, and out in front of a larger storm we see warmer temperatures. So you can see that if they were to look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, the Climate Prediction Center has us at or has a lot of the United States at above average conditions, above average temperatures. And it has that for the 6 to 10 as well. You can see March 5th through 11th has above average for a good portion of the country, excluding maybe the southern portions of the United States. 6 to 10 day outlook you could see is also pretty warm for a good portion of the country, especially the east, parts of the north, and into the west, but maybe across the Rockies and into southwestern United States it could be a bit chillier. But let's talk about this storm that's coming through. Let's see how much total snowfall it could bring. I'll bring it back to around 210 hours, and I'll show you whether or not and I'll show you just the snowfall amounts from that storm. I don't want to bring in any other system at this point to mix it in. So let's wait for this to load, and I'll bring it back to you guys once it loads. So notice that across the northeast there could be some pretty large snowfall amounts across, especially the northern area. You could see maybe up to a foot and a half, maybe 2 feet localized. So that is definitely a impressive snowfall amount. Let's quickly look at the, you can see if we were to pan out to 384 hours out, it would show that there could be several chances for the Midwest to see some snow across the country. And this is, by the way, this snowfall amount right here is only through that second midweek storm that would happen next week, the one that this video is dedicated to. There would be many more occasions after that, as winter is nowhere near done, especially for those areas. And I want to click to 300 hours 384 to show you how much snow is going to possibly fall overall in the GFS 10-day forecast, or 15 to 16-day forecast, except this computer is acting very slow, so I will have to bring it back once it loads. And this is what I was referring to. As you can see that quite a bit of snow could fall across the Midwest, even parts of the southern periphery of the Midwestern really states, and into portions of southern Canada and the Northeast. You could see some pretty high amounts as well. I would like to focus maybe now on some of the other models. You can see that they also show some snow pretty far to the north, but some great amounts as well. Let's look at what they say about this midweek storm. As again, I said that the confidence is pretty darn high, especially given the fact that it's very far out. Now, let me specify that the confidence is high in terms of the snow or the storm occurring, relatively high at this point out, but it's by no means is it confident where it will occur, or whether or not it will be a snowstorm, or whether or not it will just be a stray smaller event, just rain. So again, I'm consistently having troubles with this computer right now. It's running really slowly. I really have no clue as to why, and I tried everything I could, but unfortunately the models are still not loading. But I'll show you the Canadian, the European maybe, if it gets to load, and then I'll just call it a day, as it's taking a very long time.
So as you can see that the Canadian has also several waves to the system. The first one on Monday, possibly bringing some lighter rain across Ohio Valley. Then a larger second system that you could see, which I was talking about earlier, it brings it out further to the west with some possibly significant accumulations, maybe across Wisconsin, Michigan. If this was even further to the west, some large snowfall amounts could be occurring. Now again, this is still very far out, so exact timing track is just impossible to tell. But what I'm able to tell you is that a rather large system is going to occur, and it seems pretty likely for this to occur. Now, it doesn't seem like this will be a giant snowstorm, more of a type scenario, the way things are looking right now. But yet again, I don't want to disclose the fact that possibly some heavy to moderate snow may be occurring as well across the Northeast, the Midwest, or wherever it may, wherever it may play out. There's still plenty of cold air, even despite it being March. There's still plenty of cold air for it to show some pretty heavy snows if it wants to. Mother Nature does not give up till early April, with even into late April with some big snowstorms. There's been snowstorms even as late as early May. So that is that. The European, by the way, shows a very similar thing to the GFS and Canadian, so I won't be showing you that as it's not loading. So thank you so much for watching. Consider liking the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.